Hello. Here I review movies, and today's film is Netflix's new shark sci-fi horror, Under Paris. It's a French film about a killer shark in the Seine River. A team of cops try to find it before it causes any trouble and mayhem breaks loose. Yannick Dahan, Maud Hiving, and Xavier Jean wrote the story. Xavier Jean directed the film, which stars Bérénice Bejo, Nassim Lies, and Léa Lavigne. I'm gonna be real with you. This is another shark horror like Jaws where they pretend that sharks are hyper-intelligent killers that prey on anything. Their explanation about why it happens doesn't make a lick of sense. However, the story is significantly better if you go into it thinking about it like a fantasy film. They treat science like magic, and for the purposes of enjoying the film, you should too. If you can do that, the story is filled to the brim with ridiculous shark action, a chain of events that nobody could see coming, and a lot of really satisfying moments where dumb people are eaten by sharks. If that sounds interesting to you, it's a fairly well-produced film on a basic level. The visual journey is clean, takes place outside in the streets of Paris, and does a good job of building up tension before the shark attacks. The parts underwater aren't always the best, but they try to mix real shots of divers swimming in lit-up watery spaces with CGI shots of the sharks attacking and eating them. They do a good job with most of it, and they attempt a lot of really cool ideas. Like at several different points, they have the sharks in with huge groups of people and they just start mowing them down. It's an absolute bloodbath where you have sharks eating people, ripping them in half, and chomping off bits of their body. They even have moments where the sharks attack like piranhas and tear a person apart together. Behind it is a mix of basic orchestral instrumentals that give the film a somewhat ephemeral and melancholic feel. The tracks attempt to follow the journey and amplify any emotions popping up in the story. They're a bit entertaining at times and work occasionally to make a moment a little better, but ultimately don't have much impact. Which brings me to the film's flaws, and all the reasons you shouldn't watch it if you're looking for a good film. The story, for starters, is absolute nonsense. They gloss over all the important details like where the shark came from, how it evolves so quickly, or really anything about how it works. They also have every human character act in the most irrational of ways and exaggerate like crazy the effects of different events throughout the film. I couldn't stop rolling my eyes at how suicidal the humans are, and spent half the film begging for all of these dummies to get their comeuppance. Seriously, stop getting into the water with this thing. They also don't give you much reason to keep watching. All of the characters aside from Sophia are insufferably arrogant, and they go to extreme lengths trying not to develop any of them. You learn their names and then see them get picked off one by one as the story develops. That's it for the characters' journeys. This leaves the cast with nothing real to do. They just play out the fear and pain reactions when they need to and slog their way through the exposition scenes. The few moments where they do get to do some emotion, they're allowed to do subtle performances and they do them well, which only makes you want more from them. It's like they're intentionally teasing you with those little moments. Like, see what it would be like if we had interesting and fulfilling characters? The visual journey, while clear, still suffers from the bad CGI. They're switching to cartoon graphics every time you see a shark eat someone. You can see poor textures and weird movements. It lets them do some fun things, but it also makes you wonder why they didn't just make a cartoon. It's not like they really used the visual medium to express a lot of emotion. The characters are barely a focus of the film. The music is also highly generic and instantly forgettable. The tracks are simple to start with, then they're quiet on top of that. They don't have much impact, they don't have a lot of flavor, and the film seems to use the same tracks for danger and action moments repeatedly. It's a bit dull after a while, and it makes you yearn for better films and more sophisticated composers. Basically, this film is yet another Jaws clone where the humans are dumb, the shark is smart, and people are gonna die. They lean hard into the action and forget to tell a real story behind it. Which means that all you have to enjoy is the soundtrack, acting, and visuals. Those are done well on a basic level, but don't have enough flashy parts to stand out in any way. If you're not super into sharks, there just isn't a reason to watch the film. Personally, I enjoyed watching the hippies get eaten for their crappy attitudes, but found the rest of the film a little boring. It's okay for background fodder, but that's about it. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 4 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye.